All right, I'm going to give this a shot.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is gonna hurt like a mother.
When Matthew Perry died a couple years ago, everybody kept asking, why did this one hurt so bad in particular? And the general answer was that for most of us who grew up in the 80s and 90s and beyond, we've spent so many hours with him to the point that it felt like he was part of our families. Every Thursday night, NBC.
Stick a fork in me. I am done.
But with John Candy, it's different. He wasn't in a lot. And when I was a kid, I really only knew him from Home Alone, Cool Runnings, The End of Vacation. He didn't take up a whole lot of space in my brain. He didn't have a lot of screen time. But whenever he was in a film, he commanded your attention. So in 1994, January of that year, I was 10. I grew up in Southern California, and we had just experienced the big Northridge earthquake. Bridges fell, buildings toppled. And that was scary, but it didn't come close to the pain I felt. Going through that Lucky grocery store. Lucky's. My mom had taken me grocery shopping, like she normally did. It was in March. While she did the shopping, I would always go up to the magazine racks in the front to check out the latest Archie and Jughead magazines, the comics. You remember those? But I stopped dead in my tracks when I saw the cover of the People magazine. Saying that John Candy had died. It's stupid because I've never met the guy, right? But as a 10-year-old boy, I stood in the middle of that grocery store and I just cried. I couldn't tell my mom, later when we met back up, I couldn't tell her how I felt. But I kept that inside. I didn't want to come across sounding stupid, I guess. As a movie reviewer, I have to figure out why this one hit so hard. After all, he's been dead for over 30 years. But why does it still hurt every time I put in a movie? And you get like this bittersweet feeling, like his smile just brings you warmth and happiness every time. And yet it still hurts to remember that he's gone. And this exact same thing with Robin Williams. It's the same thing. Those were two heavy hitters. They left a really bright spot in our lives, and it's one of those flames that'll never go out, right? I was really excited to see this movie, and I'm so forever grateful to Ryan Reynolds for producing this. I know that there have always been John Candy references in the Deadpool movies, which I have always appreciated.
Look at me. I'm an easy target. And for the first time in a long while, I like me.
Colin Hanks was the director of this film. And I'm not going to say it's the greatest documentary ever made. It's up there. It has its problems. For instance, the score, the music was just nonstop. It's just like, shut up. It's like, I don't need the music to enhance how sad this is. I can look at a picture and I'm gone. It was like the music was saying, hey, look over here. Don't forget about me. But no, we're here to watch about John Candy. I've been filming the first season of my new show, Through the Decades. It'll be premiering here on Beanlight Productions very soon. And already I've watched and reviewed 2 films with John Candy. And there's also a movie about Loretta Lynn who sings the song at the end of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I knew this movie was coming out, but I watched those before I knew how hard this movie would hit, before I even saw it. This isn't a documentary that starts off loud and wild with parties and drinking and booze. He wasn't that guy. He had an unhealthy relationship with food. But who doesn't? Everybody in the world is addicted to food. That's why we're alive. He was a family man. And he very much came across as such in his roles. I didn't have a great relationship with my father growing up. In some ways, John Candy stepped in for him. Especially with The Great Outdoors. That was a good one.
Why the hell would you want to come up to a plant-infested no-man's land like this and live like a barbarian for a week?
I have great memories of this country when I was a kid, you know, and I used to come up here with my dad, and I want the boys to have the same memories. I mean, look around you, Roman, for God's sakes. This is beautiful country here.
It's not a documentary that informs you of who he was, you know, gives you all the stats. Those are there, but this is a documentary that it pulls you along on an emotional journey. And it reminds you of why you loved him and why you still love him. And what I appreciated most was that it validated my pain that I've carried with me since that day at the grocery store. And this movie told me I'm not an idiot for having felt so horrible about his death then and now. Him dying was something I never got over. But this film provided closure for me. It gave me closure, but it also gave me a pride and a joy in having idolized somebody who was actually a good person. You don't want to meet your heroes. But apparently John Candy was one you could walk away from with a smile on your face and having been a better person for that interaction with him. You can tell he was, well, as he says, the real thing, the genuine article.
What you see is what you get.
I'm so sorry. By the end of this movie, you realize he wasn't just funny. He was good.
I didn't realize the 4 black guys in a bobsled could make you blush.
He was a good actor.
What's this regarding, Mr. Grizzle?
He was a good person.
I don't have a home.
He was a good father.
Happy birthday!
A good husband.
Yeah, we didn't get along on our first day. It was a blind date, too. And I don't think we got along that well. But I wasn't going to show her. I was going to show her, you know, how dare you not like me.
You can tell from the interviews and the home videos that John Candy was a sincere man. A man whose hearts can be broken, and that shows. Especially when interviewers bring up his weight. You can tell there's a bit of a knife sticking in him, and he kind of retreats. And I don't think he was just being petty or a big baby. I don't think that. His dad died so young. He outlived his dad by 10 years, but that's not much. He grew up with not only the fear of dying, but I think sort of a premonition, because he died so young at 43. I'll be 43 either this year or next. I lost count. Bill Murray opens up the documentary in what I would call his greatest performance ever. But he was so genuine here. Martin Short, Steve Martin, Dan Aykroyd, Catherine O'Hara, Conan O'Brien, Eugene Levy. These people are the gold standard of old school comedy. And to have your memory pull all these people together into one film, that is saying a lot. I can tell you I am not being biased, but 30 years from now, people are not going to remember Bill Murray and Chevy Chase. They'll appreciate their iconic roles, sure, but they're not going to gather the best of the best into one movie or into one room and you know, reminisce about how great and kind they were to humanity. And there are still legends living that people will remember 30 years from now, and perhaps we'll get another documentary like this. But for now, in the year 2025, we're reminded to like ourselves. It's okay to like me. John Candy did something kind of unique in the 80s and 90s, and he made being kind cool. If you grew up watching John Candy, this movie is going to hit you hard. If you don't know anything about him, this movie is, I hope, going to send you back to watch all of his movies. One thing I didn't get, though, was why did they not get the rights to Cool Runnings? I saw one or two clips from the movie, but did the Disney copyright lawyers not want people to remember that film? Is it because the rumors are true and that they are redoing that movie with a cast of girls? Good luck trying to find somebody to play Coach Irv. And if it's not Amy Schumer, I will eat my ass from the inside out. But really, it doesn't matter, because you still get who he was through this film. It helps because I'm not alone anymore in my grief over this stranger's death, who never really was a stranger. Now, I was shocked to death when I saw that this did not get 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm gonna roast the critics and audience members who did not like John Candy, I Like Me. Step into the time machine, because my new series, Through the Decades, is just 1 or 2 videos away from premiering here on Beanlight Productions. In this series, I will be watching and reviewing the top 10 highest grossing movies of each year from 1980 to present day. And you have the chance to rewrite history by ranking and voting for your favorite movies from any given year. Not a fan of Back to the Future? You prefer Rocky IV? Then you can contribute to the official audience ranking and completely reorder the highest earners from each year. Together, we are going to answer the big questions. Which movies still hold up today, and which movies need to remain frozen in carbonite for all of eternity? If you want to get ahead of the game, my top 5 Buy Me a Coffee donors will get to suggest additional movies to put against the best of each year. So, buckle up, cowboy. This is more than just a countdown. This is a journey through film history, 1 year at a time. Want to watch? Want to play? Subscribe now so you don't miss the pilot episode airing very soon here on Beanlight Productions. Now, if you head over to Rotten Tomatoes, you will see that I Like Me scored a favorable 88% with critics and a 97% with audience members. That's not good enough. So let's look at these negative reviews individually so I can tear these people a new one. Alex Hudson from Exclaim says, beyond his struggle with anxiety and the tendency for this to drive him toward indulgence, there simply isn't much nuance here. So Alex just wants another John Belushi story. He wants another Heath Ledger. He wants another Whitney Houston. He wants his celebrity stories to fit within a certain mold and to be nothing other than that. And that's an issue, because this mold that celebrity deaths have created, it's not good. We don't want people going down this route. We want more people like John Candy to live and die the way he did. That would give celebrity a much better name. Jim Vorgel from Paste magazine says, when everyone is so eager to say the same nice things about the performer of John Candy, I Like Me, a deeper level is hard to uncover. I think that's the point of the film. These critics are so hell-bent on finding the dirt on somebody. You know, what's the nasty secrets they kept hidden in their closet? Maybe there are people that just live genuinely good lives. And that's what this documentary, I believe, celebrates. I want to be more like John Candy. I want to like me better. And then we head over to the audiences. TM11999M gives the documentary half a star out of 5 and says, everybody loved John Candy, but he was super weak mentally. He could have taken care of himself and taken other roles than the fat jovial guy. You watch this and see if you agree. Well, fucktard, we don't agree. You're wrong. I'm thankful that we got this at this point in time. The world is a freaking mess. And it's good to be reminded that there were good, genuine people in this world. call out somebody for being weak mentally, that is extremely dangerous. If you are a friend of TM11999M or an acquaintance and you are suffering with depression or anxiety of any sort, please seek help. Everybody has mental weakness. That's part of the reason why everybody is going to end up dying. So please, take the time to watch this film. Be reminded of the good that people can bring to others. And until next time, take this quarter, go downtown, and have a rat gnaw that thing off your face. Thanks for hanging out with me.
The thing that he left behind was his heart. Like, it was just joy every time. When you say John Candy, we say it in the doc. Everyone says it. They smile. You think of him and you smile.
Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for hanging out with me. Oh, crap. Thank you for hanging out with me. I can't do it. Thanks for hanging out with me. 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 I don't know if that works.